There is so much to talk about as the campaign ramps up. We are 3 weeks and 1 day from Election Day. Always things happening, always things to fill you in on. This morning, I did a 5K run with the Rotary Club of St. Stephen in Milltown, of which I'm a member. That is a service group that raises money for incredible causes all throughout Charlotte County. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And I was proud to be a part of organizing the run and running in the run. So if I do look tired, it is because I blasted myself with a 5K today, and it was an absolute pleasure, a really fun time. But I do want to continue today talking about rentals and tenancy. Not belaboring the point, so today I'm going to bring this part to a close, but I did want to convey to you one of the green promises, one of the things that we are saying we are committed to, and of course, as MLA in Saint Croix, a similar thing. And yesterday I talked about how I have personal experience with renting. My wife and I bounced all over Toronto renting until it just got unaffordable. We sat down and we said, we can't keep doing this. Our rents were pushing north of 2,000 a month for the top two floors of a 3-bedroom house. We just felt like we were getting forced out. And eventually, so a long part of our story is we came to St. Stephen, found a home in 2018, and then we were in the process of finishing up the mortgage papers when we got our notice from our landlord that we were going to be kicked out in September. Sorry, I will not be renewing your lease, your rent. That would have been an incredible blow. We sensed that it was coming, just the way things are going. So actually, we told her that that's fine. We're happy to leave. We actually bought a house here in St. Stephen, and that worked out for her because once we left, then she raised the rent. We saw it back on the market. We were paying about $2,100 a month, and she increased it to about $2,700 a month for the next tenants. So again, same house, just we leave. A new tenant comes in and pays about $600 more a month than we ever did. Friends, this is just one of those examples, and that was Toronto 2018. We're in a full-blown crisis here in New Brunswick. In the 1980s, the federal government decided that they were kind of going to download housing issues, especially affordable housing, to the provinces, and New Brunswick never picked that up. I keep saying we're talking about liberal and conservative governments that have gone back and forth. Not a single affordable public housing unit was built in my 38 years, almost my entire lifetime. Another thing that has happened in that 38 years, 40 years, is when you look at the average income of a Canadian, say, it has hovered around 38,000, 40,000, 42,000 per year. That's kind of the average median income. But rents have doubled in that time. Okay, so you can talk about, inflation and prices going up and things like that. But when you have medium incomes of Canadians staying the same and rents doubling, and we know that the people who rent are the ones typically in the bottom of the average. When you just look at the data, in 2021, a census was taken, the average homeowner, the median income was $82,000 or so. And for renters, it was $44,000. I've said here before, homeowners typically have 20 times the wealth with equity and other things in their capital and their savings and things like that. And here we have, if we just talk about median incomes, we see that renters are making about half. So that is why protections are absolutely crucial. When you see income staying the same, rents doubling, renters making half of what homeowners do. And last thing I'll throw at you, when you look at monthly shelter costs, homeowners typically spend, the average is $770, whereas renters spend $830. So you see how renters are actually paying more. It's one of those kind of absurdities where you go to the bank and you ask for a mortgage approval, and if they approve you, you'll actually end up spending less per month than you are as a renter, but they deny you, typically because of, who knows, history with renting, not enough assets, you don't have enough down payment, et cetera, et cetera. That is why we need to work very hard to get people into affordable homes, bring the overall rate down. Again, I have felt what it's like to be evicted. And thankfully, we were jumping into our really great home here in St. Stephen. But the Green government, and as MLA in Saint Croix, will make sure that rents do not increase more than 2.5%. Now, yesterday I talked about the NB housing plan. They said that they would like to see measures. Remember those targets? I read it yesterday. If you're just joining, yesterday, the NB Housing target is it just very generally says create measures to keep rents at around 2.5%. Well, that came out, friends, last year. And in the last couple of years, rents have increased around 11%. If you just look since the report came out, depending on exactly when you start, that is what their target is, and rents have in reality increased 11%. This is why when we just say, oh, we're going to kind of have a bunch of dials and levers and we're going to play with rates and things like that. No, the only thing that works, and Acorn, which is a tenancy advocacy group, says, and housing experts say, the only thing that's going to work is a firm legislated cap. I know, having lived in Ontario, that saved my wife and I a world of hurt. It is because of legislation. It's illegal to rent-evict somebody for cosmetic purposes, which is a half measure. But advocates say what we need next is a hard rent regulation at 2.5%, the maximum. And if landlords want to increase it, they would have to appeal to a tenancy board, not tenants trying to appeal that they can't afford it. That's absolutely unfair. The onus should not be on the tenants. Okay, so that's a measure we want to take. We also want to establish, like in Quebec, a public rental registry. And if you Google that, you'll find it, and you will see rental properties, details around that, which typically have, heating and cooling costs, utility costs, renovation plans that the landlords have to declare, that kind of thing. More protections for renters, because last thing I'll leave you with, we have the second lowest protections for tenants in this country. Only Alberta, kind of the other conservative province, only Alberta is worse. Only in Alberta are renters more at risk than New Brunswick. So something needs to change. I know the Green Party, we definitely want to work on Residential Tenancy Act reform, the RTA legislation, and we will do that with enough MLAs in the House, and that is why you need to elect me as your MLA in Saint Croix. Tomorrow is Truth and Reconciliation Day. I will be, of course, down at the walk commemorating that in St. Andrews at the Point. I look forward to seeing you there. And of course, tomorrow I'm going to then talk about the number one item in our 2024 platform is the Green Party, which is our relations with Indigenous First Nations peoples in New Brunswick. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of